Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to a new video. Today is my birthday, technically, but not really. As I am filming this today, it is October 17th. This is gonna see the light of day on the 27th, which is my birthday, but I am heading out today book shopping. I am taking you guys with me. It's going to be a little come book shopping with me bookstore vlog, taking you on a little tour of all of the different bookstores here in Panama and see what I can find to maybe get myself a few books for my birthday, treat myself to a little something. My brother and bestie Alex are coming with me. You've seen Alex before in vlogs, so I think we are bound to have a pretty fun day. We are going to 4 different bookstores today. We are going to 2 in the same mall, another branch of one of the ones that we're going at the mall, and then a different one. So the roster today is El Lector, 2 branches of Gran Morrison, and then Mr. Books, and see what we find in this array of bookshops. I've talked about it before, but here in Panama, we don't always have the newest titles. We also don't always have the greatest of stock, so it's always a little bit of a toss-up in terms of what I'll be able to find. So I'm hoping that there are some good finds today. You guys will see it all. Again, taking you guys with me throughout the entire day. We are first going to pop into a little coffee shop and get some drinky drinks. We'll have a nice little drink, do some little book shopping, and then I'm sure we'll convene for lunch, break, go back to book shopping. It's all going to be great. So I'm very excited to take you guys with me today. Happy birthday, Tommy! Let's get into it. Let's go book shopping. Let's hit the road, everybody. Guess who got told off for recording? It's me. Hi. First time this has happened, but if I had a penny for every time, I'd have several pennies at this point. We are currently in bookstore number 2. Vibes are much better. We've already asked if we can film in here, and it's great. No problems. So I'm very excited. And I see a lot of things in English, so let's look at it. Let's see what we can take home. But I'm excited. It looks promising. Looks very promising. Okay, so we have got a dilemma. I'm texting Bella right now. It's the way she just replied. She sent 3 messages. I bet they are all stickers. It's fully the way I'm texting Bella because I found this. I was like, oh, maybe I'll find Attack on Titan Volume 1, like just the one. And they have a box set of the first 4. And my thing is, you guys know me. Like when I read series, I read the first one first and then I like move on. If I like it, I keep on reading it. If I don't like it, I don't keep on going with the series. I feel like this is commitment. I don't know if it's a type of commitment I I want to be making. It's just too much. But if it was up to Bella, she would force feed it to me. So I'm like, do I have to? I feel like I have to. When in doubt, you sample the thing to see if you're gonna like it, and we're gonna try and figure it out. This is a love letter to Bella if I do end up getting it. So let us read a little bit of Attack on Titan in Volume 1 and see if I like it enough to take it. It's so scary. Back home, friends, and we are back home with the goods. I managed to find quite a bit of books, which makes me very happy. Some very pretty books, some books that were unexpected and not on my contemplated list, some books that I am very excited to read and I've been excited to read for a while and I just hadn't gotten myself a copy. And I spent quite a bit of time at the bookstore just reading synopses, familiarizing myself with these books, checking out what they were about, and reading samples and stuff to figure out which ones I actually wanted to take home with me. And I think we have got a nice little array from a little bit of everything. Let's get into all the books I got because it's very exciting. Let us start with the first bag, which is a combination of the first two places I went to. They were Gran Morrison and El Lector, and although they didn't have too much stock this go around, I feel like last time I did go, they had a lot better stock and they had newer releases and potentially more exciting titles. I felt like last time I was near about going crazy over all the things I could take home. This go around, I think it did take me longer because I was like, oh, it's gonna force me to read synopses for books that I might have not picked up otherwise. So it did take quite a bit, but we did have some good finds. First book is actually Gothicana, which I know you guys are gonna be like, Mel, this is on KU, which it is, but the physical copy was too pretty to say no to. It's also got some really nice sprayed edges. I've been curious about this book for a while and I've been mostly curious to see how I'd feel about it because I have heard very mixed reviews on it, but I've also heard a lot of great things about this book. I know that this book had its moment of popularity, I think about a year ago, maybe a little bit under that, and everybody and their mother was reading this book. Everybody was loving it, raving about it, and now it's been traditionally published by Bramble, which I find incredibly fascinating. So I feel like I need to know what all of the hype is about and exactly what the story will do. And I know in this one we have our main character, Corvina Clem, who has been an outcast her entire life. She's recently been left adrift after losing her mother, and she feels like everything's going wrong until she gets an acceptance letter to what I believe is her dream university. In this exact university, things are not exactly what they seem. There is a mystery haunting its halls, and there are periodic disappearances at specific amounts of time that a part-time professor, Vlad, is very aware of. And as Corvina comes into said university and they meet, he starts realizing very quickly that she is getting these download signals from the universe, from the university. I don't know exactly what, as to what can potentially be making these disappearances happen and exactly what is behind it all. And so he kind of immediately catches on to the facts that she is very dangerous to what he is, which I think to me alludes to the facts that he may be behind it all. I don't know. I'm not aware. Don't know if this is a vampire book or a creature book in any way, shape, or form, but I guess we'll find out when I get into it. I'm trying to keep my knowledge of this book kind of baseline as far as the synopsis, which I do think the synopsis also doesn't reveal too much, but I am very excited to get this read and see what this is about. I actually just realized this has got some really cool end papers. I hadn't seen those, and we do have some foiling on the dust jacket. Is the back of it the same or different? No, it's the same. we'll see what that's about. Next up, I have got a manga, and this one has always caught my eye, mostly because of the cover art and also the colors that are used on the covers. I think it's very eye-catching, and that is Chainsaw Man Volume 1. Again, the colors are very striking, immediately caught my eye when I saw it at the bookstore. I was initially looking for Attack on Titan, which you guys did see I saw at the bookstore. However, it was a box set of the first 4 volumes, and me personally, when it comes to book series and manga series for that matter, I would rather read the first book, figure out if I like it, and then move accordingly. Because if I don't like it, I'll DNF the series right there, and then I'm not stuck with the rest of the series on hand. And if I do like it, then I can go back and get the rest of it, keep reading it, keep enjoying it. And so at present, I did not get Attack on Titan, though I did want to, and I was very near about to do something very impulsive, which is get the first 4 volumes, but then I saw the price and it really drew me back because it was over $50. I was like, baby, do I actually want to pay for that? And the answer was not at present. So I instead took Chainsaw Man with me home, and in Chainsaw Man we follow Denji, who is a very poor man who hunts devils for money with his pet devil Pochita. He is a very simple man despite the amount of debt that he has. He actually finds himself being betrayed toward the start of the volume, and that's how he essentially finds himself having the power of a devil inside him, and that's how he becomes the Chainsaw Man. I will assume he probably keeps chasing and hunting monsters and devils down for money, and now it'll probably become easier because of who he is now. I've got no idea. I have heard that this is a really good series. I've been recommended this quite a bit, so I'm hoping that it's actually a good time, that I actually enjoy it. I've been told by my brother that sometimes it can be very unserious because our main character is always doing crazy stuff, so I'm excited to actually give this a read, see if I like it, see if I don't, and see if I'll continue on with the series. And if I don't, then my brother has gained a new manga volume, and if I do, then I have gained a manga volume, and it'll be great. I was so happy that I saw this at the bookstore. I don't think I've ever seen an Octavia E. Butler book at any of my local bookstores, so when I saw The Parable of the Sower, I knew I had to take it home with me. I had initially been wanting to get the new, I think it's rather new, or at least in the past like 4 years, hardcover edition, because it's really, really stunning. But listen, I can't pass up a good paperback, so I decided to take this home with me. I think it's very fitting that the start of the book, or at least the origin of the story, takes place in 2024, which I think is actually crazy, so I will try and read this before the year is over, just for the sake of reading it at the year that the story takes place in. But we essentially have a story in which, at the start of the 2020s, climate change, economic crises led to social chaos, and now the world has redefined itself, and now there is a lot of anarchy and vagabonds trying to make it another day. There are water shortages everywhere, and life has simply not looked the same. But there is a specific group of people that decide to ignore what is happening outside of their gated community, and that is where our main character Lauren comes in. Someone who has hyper empathy and actually finds herself wanting to speak up about the imminent dangers that her community, her preacher father, and everybody around her is actively ignoring. And basically, to my understanding, what that becomes the more that you read the story is an entirely new faith, and I'm very, very excited to read this and see exactly what all of this is about. Safe to say that I have heard nothing short of the most incredible things about Octavia E. Butler's writing and how she navigated this entire dystopian scenario and how it remains more relevant than ever given how the world looks like now. And I think because of that, again, I would love to read it before the year's over. So Parable of the Sower is part of the collection. And then for our second bag, I have got the books that I found at the latter 2 bookstores. So the second branch of Gran Morrison that we went to, as well as Mr. Books. And Mr. Books actually had 45% off, I think, or 40% off on every single book available. Every single book was at a discount, which I thought was very surprising, but I did not complain about that because the book I got there was really, really cheap, which is why I also ended up getting it. However, they did not have as much English stock as they typically do when I do go, so it was a little bit of a bummer, but at least we managed to find one book that actually sounds really, really interesting. And then I found 2 other books at the other branch of Gran Morrison, and I am particularly most excited about one of these books because I had no idea what the book was about. And then I remember first bookstore I went to, I saw the synopsis and I was like, what is this book about? And I was like, it sounds a little bit weird. I don't know that I'm into that. And then I saw it at the second branch of Gran Morrison, and then I sampled it because I was like, there's something drawing me into this book. And I read the sample and the sample got me, and so I got it. And that book is Remarkably Bright Creatures. Now, I saw this at the first bookstore and I was like, a girly pop forms a friendship with a giant Pacific octopus? Sounds kind of weird, count me out. And then when I found it at the other bookstore, I read the beginning of it, and that just about got me. Because literally, the book starts out with day 1299 99 of my captivity. And so the very first thing you read is from the octopus point of view. And the very last line of this thing says, I must advise you that our time together may be brief. The plaque states one additional piece of information. The average lifespan of a giant Pacific octopus, 4 years. My lifespan, 4 years, 1,460 days. I was brought here as a juvenile. I shall die here in the stank. At the very most, 160 days remain until my sentence is complete. That is what got me. And I ended up buying the book, and I am now, safe to say, very excited to read this. We follow our main character, Tova, who has recently lost her husband. In fact, 30 years ago, she lost her 18-year-old son, Eric, in an expedition at sea. Now, she wants to keep herself busy because she finds that makes her feel better and keeping her brain occupied. Basically gives her less time to worry about these people that she has lost and fully give into the grief of it. And in the midst of her mopping up and cleaning up in the aquarium she works at, she finds herself forming an unlikely friendship with a giant Pacific octopus named Marcellus, one of the two. And as they form this friendship, he kind of deduces everything that haunts her, and he decides essentially to find out the truth of what happened to give her some semblance of peace before his sentence is over. And I think that sounds so interesting. I have heard really amazing things about this book. I am hoping that I enjoy it. This is the author's debut novel, so I obviously don't have any prior experience, and I will see how this goes. I think the dynamic in itself, it's super unique and different, so I'm hoping I enjoy it. And if that first chapter is anything to go by, I think it's promising. It's looking promising. Se ve bueno, señores. Se ve bueno. Then I have got The Mystery Writer. This is the book that I found at Mr. Books, and the only reason why I got it is because it was 40% off. However, it does sound very interesting. We follow our main character, Theodosia, who gives up her life as an attorney and goes to visit her brother, or essentially stay with him. She goes with her suitcases, an unfinished novel, and she states her intent of finishing this book and becoming a full-blown writer. Something she quickly figures out after starting this journey is that identity is something that can be made up, lost, and remade for the sake of the audience in this hidden literary world that she finds herself in. But things go a little bit awry when her mentor actually is found murdered, I believe, or missing, and her brother becomes a prime suspect for some reason, and then she finds herself involved in doing things that she never thought she'd do to protect him, and things go to shit very, very quickly. And I've never heard of this book. I thought it sounded really interesting. I think the premise is something that I would really enjoy. I was literally picturing this as a TV show and how I would be fully sucked in if I saw a premise like this, especially with her being a writer and potentially going into the public eye and everything. I think that aspect of it is interesting. And what unthinkable things did she do to protect her brother? I need to know. And also, did the brother do it? Did she not? Did she do it? I genuinely am wondering, maybe, ooh, what happens if she murdered her mentor and then decided to take up the identity of her mentor in order to publish these books? That would actually be interesting. First theory, and I haven't even started the book, so I'll keep you updated, but I'm hoping it's a good time. And last but not least, I got A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, another author I have never read from before, but I think this particular installment of this author I have heard really great things about. It is also a rivals to lovers, academic rivals specifically, and you guys know how much I love that trope. It also has a darker, almost gothic aesthetic. It also involves fairies in some way, shape, or form, so there is the element of magic in here, which I think sounds super interesting. And we follow our main character, Effie, who grew up really loving fairy tales, and she kind of has had no other option but to really love them because her favorite author specifically wrote a lot of tales about the Fairy King. In fact, the author's most famous book about the Fairy King is her comfort novel. It is the thing that has kind of pushed her through many a bad time at her architecture college, and she gets the one-of-a-lifetime opportunity to actually go to the author's estate because they are hoping to remodel the whole thing now that the author is no longer alive. And it is there that she faces a lot of different mysteries, both mortal and not mortal. And she ends up making a rival out of Preston, who was already taken residence and sent home, and is out to prove that the author is actually a fraud. I will assume it's got something to do with the fact that he is a literature student, so there's some sort of element of him allegedly knowing better, probably, and that bringing forth a lot of conflict and banter and tension between the two of them. I am really excited to read this. I, again, have heard really great things about this one. I think the possibility of academic rivals to lovers kind of reminds me of Divine Rivals, and I have seen this book recommended a lot alongside the Divine Rivals duology, so I'm hoping that maybe there will be somewhat similar vibes here or something that I can latch on to and really enjoy. So I'll keep you guys updated on this one. If you've read this one, actually let a girl know, because I would be very curious to know you guys' opinion. But I also sampled this one and it also seemed quite interesting. It literally has excerpts of the fictional book as the chapter headers. It began as all things did, a girl on the shore, terrified and desirous, something along those lines. I think that's really cool. And so I am hoping that I also enjoy this one. All of the chapters start like that, which you guys know I'm a sucker for, so it's home with me now. And so by the end of it, these are all the things I brought back home with me and the things that will be added into the shelves. All new to me authors and authors that I am very excited to test out and see how I enjoy. I think all of the books are, first of all, very different from each other, but I think that's very exciting. And I love that I got to find things in different genres, from literary fiction to fantasy to mystery thriller to dystopian to manga to fantasy romance. We really do have a little bit of everything here, and I am very excited about it. So let a girl know if you've read any of these books down in the comments, because I'd be very curious to know once more whether you guys have read these, enjoyed these, if you think I'd enjoy them. If you don't think I'd enjoy them, then don't tell me, because that's definitely gonna make me enter an existential crisis. But otherwise, do let a girl know. I mean, honestly, you can let me know whatever. And let a girl know if you've gotten any books recently. I'd love to know. I'd love to discuss. What are you currently reading? I am currently, please hold, you guys are gonna be gagged at this because I genuinely did not know that this was gonna happen. And now it's my birthday weekend, so I thought I'd choose happiness, which I have, and I've decided to reread this one specific book, and I am having the greatest time. I've got 100 pages left, and I literally read this book earlier this year, but I'm not mad at a reread. Please hold, I'm gonna grab it because the tabs look really pretty, and I think you guys deserve to see it. I'm currently rereading Heartless by Elsie Silver, if you guys want to know what I'm reading. I love the tabbage on this. I love that it matches the cover literally perfectly. I am, again, 100 pages out from finishing this, and I have been enjoying my ride annotating this so freaking much. This was the most impromptu thing ever. Started this during patron sprints yesterday, and I haven't been able to stop. I read literally 370 pages yesterday, and so my hope is to finish this today and continue to have a good time with it. But happy birthday to me. This is my birthday gift to myself, because I swear to God, I'm enjoying this even more the second go around. And again, having so much fun annotating. So thank you, Elsie Silver, for the wonderful birthday gift that you have given me, even though you did not personally give it to me, but it feels personal. So that's what Mel is currently reading. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you reached the very end of said video, let us leave some octopus emojis for remarkably bright creatures, because I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you reach the end, make sure to leave some octopus down in the comments. I'll be looking, I'll be peeping. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already for more content like this. And if you want to support the channel further and help things run smoothly with equipment and expensive things that need to be acquired in order for this thing to run the way that it does, Patreon is always linked down below. It's a great community of like-minded people and fellow readers, and we have a Discord server, different book clubs and live shows and catch-ups and game nights and movie nights, and it's overall a fantastic time. So if you want to support the channel while getting loads of things back, then you know where to go. That is always linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye!